All right. This is our absolute value stuff when we are going to use our steps of isolate, split, solve, and check. So isolate means we get our absolute value by itself. For this first one, do I need to do anything to get my absolute value by itself? No, it's already done for us. Woohoo! We're done with the first step even without having to do anything. We'd love that. So now we're going to do our split. This piece stays the same. What's inside the absolute value stays the same on both of them. So we're going to have my 4y plus 12 is exactly what it is. And maybe my absolute value bars are not doing anything, and 4y plus 12 actually does equal negative 6y plus 4. Could be exactly what it says it is, and that my absolute value bars are just decorative. Or my 4y plus 12, this piece does not change, could equal the opposite of this, where it's negative on the outside of the whole kit and caboodle, whole thing, 6y plus 4. So that's how we split it. This is our two different options. One that is negative and one that is the positive version of it. So I'm going to focus in on the left one here. What are we going to do here to solve this guy? Ooh, my handwriting's trash then. Yeah, let's add the 6y. Plus 6y. And getting a different color. That's going to give me 4 equals 10y plus 12. What do we do next here? Subtract 12. Is what? You gotta remember, I've got a 12-year-old boy. I can hear a swear room from across the hall. So we have negative 8 equals 10y. So what does y equal? Negative 8 over 10. Can we simplify that?
Yes.
To what? I was gonna say you're fine. You're fine. 4/5. You are right on the decimal. It just took me a second. My brain was headed a different direction and I had to detract. Negative 4/5. They both divide by 2. So let's do the right-hand one, and then we'll do our checks. So on this first part, I need to distribute this minus sign through first. We have to do that first. So we're going to have our 6y minus 4 equals the 4y plus 12. So what do we do next? Let's move the 4y. If we always move the smaller of the y's, we will wind up with significantly fewer negative numbers. So we have 2y minus 4 equals 12 plus 4. So we have 2y equals 16. So y equals 8. So then we need to check these. Yes, you have to check them. That is not optional. It is part of our steps. You have to check them. Yep, plug the y in where it is and see if each side equals the other. I gotta mark attendance. I forgot to do that. I knew I was forgetting to do something.
Yep. The second one works.
Does it?
I think. I don't know. Maybe I did it wrong.
Let's check.
Wait.
Again, I forgot to do it.
Should I put it in as the pink and blue, or should I put it in as the blue? When we,
Do it as the pink and blue one, the very top one.
oh.
The tippy top. Because it's got to have that absolute value. It's important. Sorry, I forgot to mark attendance before we got moving. There we go. All right, let me grab my calculator so that we can check this together. Because I'm pretty sure one of these isn't going to work.
I forget.
All right. So let's check this one. All right, so we are going to take I'm going to start with the 8 just because it is easier to type in. We're going to have our -6 times 8 plus 4. So that was my left-hand side. And we want to know if that equals the absolute value of 4 times 8 plus 12. So does does -44, the very first one, equal the absolute value of 44? The absolute value of positive 44 is positive 44. Not negative.
So no.
The left-hand side's negative. So this one does not check. That is why we are supposed to check every single time, because this one is, oh my God, they made us do all that work. That's so extra. Oh my God. It's extraneous. Oh my God, that's so extra. Oh my God. So I'm just going to write the word up here, extraneous. So let's try our -4/5 and see what we get there. So again, I'm going to do my left-hand side. I've got my -6 times the fraction of -4 over 5 plus 4. And we got positive 44/5. And the right-hand side says 4 times my -4/5 plus 12. So, do those two equal each other?
Yep.
Yay! So, our left one checks. The right-hand one is very, very similar. Same vibe. But I'm going to go through this one a lot faster. What do I need to do first on B?
Isolate.
Isolate. So we're going to specifically do this by dividing by 2 on both sides. Thank you, dear. Because this 2 and that 2 will cancel out. So our absolute value of 6x minus 2 equals 4x. So now I've got it isolated and we can split it. This piece stays the same and will always stay the same. So my 6x minus 2 could equal 4x. Guys, what in the chaos are we doing? Or we could have, and I am running out of space over here. Minus 2 equals minus 4x. Run out of space. There we go. We have to split the absolute values because there's more than one option that'll give us our solutions. There's more than one solution. Yeah. Oh, I'm just saying, this is the first of our kinds of problems that's going to have more than one solution. We're going to be living in more than one solution for most of the year. All right, so on this one, we're going to add 2 to both sides, subtract 4x from both sides to get 2x equals 2. So x equals 1. Like I said, I want to go through this fast because we actually do have things to do. So this is going to be add 4x to both sides and add 2 to both sides. We're going to have 10x equals 2. So x equals 2 over 10, also known as 1/5. And both of those should check. That's why we have to split it into 2 problems, is that one works for both. Okay, so absolute values are going to be a thing we see, and a thing we see fairly often, especially in review type problems. We're going to see them over and over and over and over and over again. But questions on either of these? All right, please put at the top of your new bell work page that this is week 9. It is week 9. Please put that on there. It makes it so much easier when I'm trying to figure out which one you're missing, if they're all numbered. Okay, so we are going to go through some solving steps today. We're going to work with some more solving. Boop. So what we're going to do is we are going to solve into slope-intercept form. This is something that wound up showing up in our inequalities last section and was honestly a place we kind of struggled. So we're going to focus on this today so that we can, do what we need to do.
I do play with they ring anytime. I don't even play with. I love playing with they ring. I don't even use they ring. I do my own way.
You're so off task.
Well, I had a job this year.
All right. Lock it back in.
Let's lock in. Because you're not locked in.
She don't be sending me no cheese no more. Like she used to bloody my account.
Y'all are chaos. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you gotta read this.
All right. Our instructions on this one say to switch it into slope-intercept form and to find the slope and the y-intercept.
Got it.
So, first thing we need to remember is what the heck is slope-intercept form? What does that look like?
Y plus mx plus b.
Super duper close. Y equals mx plus b. Yep. So what we're doing here is we're trying to get y by itself. We're trying to get y alone. We are solving for y. Relevance. So we want to try and get y all by itself. The right-hand side might turn into a hot mess, but I'm going to get this y all by himself. What do I need to do to get this y all by himself? I was saying, we can subtract 12x from both sides. You could also do that. It's going to be a couple extra steps, but you could absolutely do it that way. So let's subtract 12x from both sides. So that's going to cancel out this 12x and that 12x. So I have minus 4y equals, can I smush those together? No. We're going to put them next to each other. You can put it as 24 minus 12x. However, if we look at our slope-intercept form, we usually like the mx in the front. So I'm just going to scooch the 12x into the front. So we have a negative 12x and a positive 24 plus 24. That puts it into our mx plus b kind of setup. We like the x in front. You don't have to, but then you have to be super duper extra careful when it comes to identifying what your slope is. Okay, still trying to find our y all by itself, our solve for y. What do I need to do to get my y all by itself? divide by negative 4 to absolutely every piece. So negative 4y gets divided by 4, negative 12x gets divided by negative 4, and the 24 gets divided by negative 4. When I say each piece, I mean each thing that is added or subtracted. So my negative 4 and my negative 4 are going to cancel out. We've got our y equals, what's negative 12x divided by negative 4? 3x. Do not drop the x. And how about 24 divided by negative 4? Negative 6. Bless you. So what is our slope? So that's our slope-intercept form. Our slope is 3 over 1, or just 3. Either way is fine. What is our intercept? We're going to put it as an ordered pair. How do I write it as a point? 0, negative 6. Whenever we write our intercepts, we're going to write them as points. It is an excellent habit to be in. So our y-intercept in this case is 0, negative 6. Questions on this first one? Let's do another one then.
How was your weekend?
Oh, me? Oh, mostly I was just sitting there with my sick kid, so, because they're still sick. They've got a fever, and if it comes back again today, then we're taking them to the doctor. But yeah, they have been sick since Thursday.
Since what?
Thursday. So, I just mostly spent the whole weekend grading, getting things ready for this week, and snuggling. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing for the right-hand one. I've got this 3x plus 8y equals 16. What are we going to do first to put this into slope-intercept form? Subtract the 3x from both sides. That's going to give me 8y equals, and again, I would love to put my mx in front of that constant. So I'm going to put minus 3x plus 16. They are not the same thing, so I can't put them together. And I would really rather have that 3b in front so that we have our mx plus b structure. What do we do next? Divide by 8. Divide by 8. Divide by 8. I want to get that y by itself, so that's why we picked the 8. So we're going to have our y equals, does negative 3x over 8 simplify? Nope. So it just stays what it is. You could also put it as negative 3/8 x. You can push the x off to the side. How about 16 over 8? 2. So what is our slope? Negative 3 over 8. And our intercept? As a point? Yeah. Is the point 0, 2. We're going to write our intercepts as ordered pair points. Questions on this one, or these ones? All right, we're going to do 2 more very similar, and then I'll kick it up one teeny tiny half a notch. So again, we're switching this into slope-intercept form and finding our slope and y-intercept. So on this first one, my x minus y equals 0. What do we do? Huh? Minus x, absolutely valid. Minus x from both sides. That's going to leave me with what? Negative y equals negative x. Negative y. It has this minus sign right here. We don't get to drop it just because we moved the x away. So what do we do now? We have to divide by what?
1.
-1. I need y equals, not minus y equals. This is -1y. I need y, not -1y. So we need to divide both sides by -1. We can't just drop negative signs because we don't like them. Unfortunately, they change things. So this is really y equals x. So what's our slope?
1.
1. What is our intercept?
0, 1.
0, 0. Because it's mx, that's my slope, plus b. What's being added over here? Nothing. Our math term for nothing is 0. So its intercept is 0, 0. If there's nothing written there, it's a 0. All right. Next one. What are we going to do here?
So minus the 8.
Minus the 8x. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm just being real picky because I don't want us to forget things. We're going to minus the 8x. So we have minus 5y equals, what are we doing, y'all? And again, I'm going to smush my x in front because I'd really rather have my minus 8x be in front of my positive 15 because that puts us into our mx plus b situation. You don't have to do that, but I do recommend it. It makes it easier. Now what? Divide by -5.
Why? Oh, I forgot. I dropped that negative.
I was going to say because we want the y. But absolutely valid. Ask a question if you don't see it. 100%. I would rather us ask a gazillion questions and be able to have me clarify stuff than for us to stare blankly at something and be so confused.
Y equals x plus.
So I would much rather us ask the question and get clarification than for me to think we're getting it and have us be staring at me blankly and lost. So y equals, does 8x over 5 simplify? Or negative 8x?
Positive.
It's going to be positive because I have a negative over a negative. But other than that, it doesn't really change. So it's 8/5 x plus -3, also known as -3. I will 100% take the plus negative, though. That's cool. You did the hard math part right. It's just a grammar problem at that point. So what's my slope? 8 over 5. What is my intercept?
0, -3.
Good. Is 0, -3. I only have one more problem for us today. Just one. Okay. So then I'm going to say, don't get mad at me.
Wow. I'm scared.
Story problem.
Ew. It's okay.
Oh.
That's why I said last one is the only one. So honestly, all we really need is the equation and what the x and the y mean. Because we're going to put things into context. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to put it in a slope-intercept form. We're going to find our slope. We're going to find our intercept. Then we're going to say what they mean. We're going to put them into context.
Okay.
Okay? So that's the only thing we add on this.
What is this?
All right. So we've got 3,246x minus 2y equals negative 152,722. This is called example 20,000 of why we don't just take notes in the textbook, because this is one of theirs. So, just saying. This is like their example number 2.
Oh.
And I'm like, yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah. That's true. Just pull out the calculator.
We are going to approach this the exact same way we've done the others. And in fact, if it helps, I'm going to do this very briefly, but then I'll put it back because I know it's going to bug somebody else. Focus in on the equation. I will put it back so that where you can see the paragraph, but focus in. Like, you don't need the paragraph for the solving part. Hands to ourselves, children. Tiny humans, come on. I can't use that quite as much for y'all because I'm technically shorter than most of you, but yeah, we're gonna start by subtracting the chunk with the x because I want to get this into slope-intercept form, so I need my y by itself. So I'm gonna start by subtracting my 3,246 x from both sides. X. I hope so. So then this chunk and that chunk cancel out. So we've got minus 2y. I was going to say, yeah, he was writing when I was talking. That's what happens when I go off on a tangent, because I know we are not super duper pressed for time. I did that on Monday, too. There we go. So then to get my y by itself, we're exactly right. We're going to divide by negative 2. Because I want to get this into slope-intercept form. And we are going to use a calculator for this. And all my calculators are in the back over here. I just collected them all because I cleaned them because they were all getting covered with pencil and germs. Mostly it was the fact that 3/4 of them had been colored in with pencil, especially over the solar panel. I don't know why we're coloring in my calculators, but we are.
You have germs.
So y equals, when we take our negative 3,246 and divide it by 2, what do we get?
Negative 1,623.
Is it going to be negative? Because I had a negative number divided by a negative number. It's going to be positive. Be careful with that. Those signs are killer. So what's going to happen over here? Luckily, it's the last one. It's going to be positive. Anyone have the number for me? Yes. So what is our slope? 623. It's just the number 1,623. The x is not a part of our slope, but it is the number with the x. What is our intercept?
This is a big graph.
We are not graphing.
I know. I'm just saying it would be a big graph.
It would. In fact, usually on these ones, it's counted by 10,000. So our last piece is to put these into context. So we need to say what it means in terms of the problem. So, because that's part of it. Unfortunately, it just does. All right. So Y is the revenue. So Y is the money that they make. And our X is the number of years after 2010.
It's been 14 years. I feel old.
Oh, just I'm going to go with bless your heart.
I drove for the first time this week.
I know. And I'm sure your parents went, ow.
Yeah.
My son's 4 years away. I'm terrified.
No, because I was down south in Madison when I was trying to stay. And I had to go through a roundabout. And I've never gone through a roundabout before. And I was freaking out.
Okay. Let's finish this out. We got to put these into context. How do we remember what slope means? Yes. Oh, not that would be which part of the equation it is. It's near my x. Think of it if I was graphing. How do I use my slope? Rise over run, right? Rise over run. That would be, if you've done physics, you've seen this. The triangle thing means change in my y's over the change in my x. So if y means revenue, this is the change in revenue. So triangle means change, so this is change in my y, which is revenue, per That's because it's being divided. What are my x's in terms of?
Number of years after maturity.
Yeah. Change in revenue per year. So that's how you can get that information. It's the change in y's out of the x's. So change in revenue per year. How much they make each year. How much more they make each year. Listen. So how do I put my y-intercept into context? We've done ones like this before. What does the 0, 76,361 as a point mean in these contexts? Hello. My screen went, thank you. This, all right guys, this is the last piece. What does the x of 0 mean?
X of 0 means that it's the end of the. You said what?
At 0.
It's at 0.
At 0 what?
At 0, it's the order. I don't know.
At 0 years after 2010. So we're putting it into words. At 0 years, or at the start, or in 2010. There's a lot of ways you can put it. The revenue was what? Okay.
Would they put a dollar sign before that because dollars? Oh, so
Oh, that is a trash dollar sign. But yes, I probably would. But I also, at this point, wouldn't take points off for it because I needed to get some points. I love that I actually printed this whole thing twice, so I have a gazillion copies of homework 3. Because I printed it up for everyone twice. So, questions on our solving stuff for equations. So, I'm going to pass out homework 3. Because of the way like e-learnings and all these other things fall, it's going to be due on Friday. We are going to do a skills check on Friday, so like a really, really short kind of check-in on how we're doing. And I need you guys to bring your computers tomorrow. I'm going to put it up here. We don't use computers often in here, but you are going to need it tomorrow.
are we going to go over what we're doing for the e-learning day?
For the e-learning day, it's on Canvas. It's just a Canvas assignment, which you can figure out because I'm actually going to be at another training on Thursday, and we also not doing like live instruction. So it's a Canvas assignment, like our viewers mode scene things, and or like where you just type it, like operate the right away.
Like, what do you need to sit on the phone and leave?
And tomorrow we're gonna look at the PSAT calculator because it was new software, but y'all are gonna practice. It's not hard, and it's already up on Canvas too.
Do I bring my app to my school?
It does not matter which one, but it's nearly impossible to do it on your phone because you try to put side by side with us.
No, like she was acting like that was wrong.
What did I start to sit there?
And not because of those ideas. Alright, there we go. Homework 3. This is our last homework before fall break. We love that. I gotta print out more bonus pages.
I need to repost that video with my favorite person. You can't even see your phone right now, can you?